What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 151. And today we're going to break down the week that was in week number 18. With me, as always, from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, it was a nice little run while it lasted, but it looks like Bobby put the finishing touches on your season, my friend. How you feeling after this week?
Yeah, he sure did while on a cruise for most of the week. So that's insult to injury, I guess. I knew it was a long shot anyway. It was a nice little run, and now I'm here to play spoiler and see what the rest of the season brings. And I start with Josh Haber this week, so we'll see.
Well, let's get going, boys. Let's dive into this thing and start it off with that matchup. Bobby Russo taking down my co-host Jason Ashby. It's a 14-7 victory for Bobby. Looks like it was 14-7 coming in, 14-7 coming out as nothing changed. Close categories. Bobby wins by 2 triples and 2 wins. Jason, you won by 3 doubles, an error, and 3 saves rather. And it says here that Bobby won the bet about errors. Is that?
Yeah, because we were going back and forth with errors all week, and because at one point I think I was down like 4-0 to errors in errors, and then all of a sudden he started making errors, and he messaged me one day. He was like, "I bet I can make more errors than you," so he won that bet.
He did indeed. For his bench this week, he goes 4 for 20. That's an even 200 with a run, a homer, an RBI, a stolen base, and 6 strikeouts. None of it plays. He used 8 of his ads. He dropped Ryan Fernandez for Scott Alexander for a clean relief appearance. Mike Talkman for Mitch Haniger, over 3 with 2 strikeouts. He dropped Edward Cabrera for Ke'Bryan Hayes, 2 for 3 with a walk. Dropped Andrew Chafin for Kevin Kelly, who just now got into the game.
Yay!
J.P. Crawford for Jonah Bride, 1 for 5 with a run and a strikeout. He dropped Mitch Haniger for Mitchell Parker, who had a nice start against the Angels, and dropped Mitchell Parker for Bowden Francis for next week, and dropped Jonah Bride for Ben Lively also for this week. His MVP this week, shout out to TJ Friedel's 10 RBIs, but it's going to go to Alex Bregman this week. 444 with a 509 runs, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Friedel did have 10 RBIs this week, like I mentioned, but a 231 batting average, not going to cut it. The least valuable hitter this week, the guy I couldn't get for Bryce Harper, it's Jake Cronenworth. 200 for a 273, a run, a double, 4 RBIs, and 3 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to who I think is still the most underrated ball player in baseball, Logan Webb. 12 and 2/3, 2 wins, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts, a 142 and an 095. And the Cy Young goes to David Bednar, who is now on Ben's team. 3 1/3, 2 losses, a homer, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 1350 and a 3. 2 losses from a reliever who only came in 3 times this week. That is not pretty.
Yeah, dude, our bullpens were like the story, at least for like the first half of the week. I feel like every day one of our relievers was either getting a win or a loss. Like it was like, so like I got a win and 2 losses out of my bullpen. He got 3 wins and 3 losses out of his bullpen. It was wild. Between Jason Adam got him 2 wins, Bednar got him 2 losses. I got a win from Buto. Like our bullpens were just all over the place this week. It was pretty wild.
Bullpens telling the story here this week. It's surprising enough from both of you who were carrying next to no closers between
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz and looks like just David Bednar.
Yeah.
For you on your bench this week, Jason, you went 6 for 21. That's a 286 batting average with a double, a triple, 2 steals, and an error, and none of it plays.
I guess the error plays, but that's bad.
I suppose, yeah. 10 moves this week. You did use all 10. You dropped Austin Hayes for Nick Sandlin, who was awful. You dropped Luis Garcia for Brian Bayo, who was not great in Kansas City. And then it was the deadline trade acquisition. Xander Bogaerts, Isaac Paredes, and Colin Poche for Royce Lewis and Taj Bradley. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I knew I had one trade left, and so did Cody, and we kind of got together, and we've been talking about Royce Lewis for a couple of weeks, and I'm of the skeptic that eventually he's gonna break again, and something's gonna happen. He's gonna strain a testicle or something, and he's gonna be
Mhm.
out for 3 weeks, and so. I felt like this was the time to move him, strike while the iron's hot. He's been hitting well. He's been healthy again. Second base has been kind of a weird spot for me for most of the season. Christopher Morel can't play the field. His glove, I just told this to Cody, his glove is made of Swiss cheese. So
Mm.
everything is an error with this guy. Uh, and I had David Hamilton for a while. Like it was just back and forth with second baseman. So I figured Xander Bogaerts is healthy. He's playing for a winning team. Let me get some of that.
Mhm.
So I picked up Bogarts. And Paredes, he's kind of the same. It's funny how him and Christopher Morel were traded for each other, and now I have them
Mhm.
both. They're kind of the same player-ish, except that Paredes walks and doesn't strike out nearly as much as Morel does. Um, so yeah, I like those two guys, and Colin Poche was just a throw in for me to help just stabilize the bullpen a little bit
Mhm.
in case something happens to Pete Fairbanks. He's probably the next guy left in that bullpen for the Rays. So yeah, and Royce Lewis has been good for Cody ever since the trade. Taj Bradley has been awful. So I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, Taj Bradley went tonight and gave up 5 earned, I think, or 6 earned, and not exactly a great start. Xander Bogarts went 1 for 5 with an RBI the day you got him. Isaac Paredes 2 for 3 with a homer and 4 RBIs and a walk the day you got him. Well done, well done. I happen to like this trade a whole lot for you, mostly because I hate Royce Lewis, and I'm with you. I don't believe that he's going to stay healthy. I just don't believe that it's just another Minnesota Twin, right? Like
He,
all of these
he
Minnesota Twins
he's
are
the next
fragile.
coming of Byron Buxton.
Exactly.
All the talent in the world, but he's made of glass and he can't stay on the field for more than 90 games.
Hmm. Hmm. You drop Brian Bayo for Alejandro Kirk, 2 for 3 with a walk. You drop JJ Bleday for Dean Kramer, who was horrible.
Yep.
You dropped Nick Sandlin for Phil Maton, who was good. You dropped Dean Kramer for Garrett Mitchell, over 3 with a run, a walk, and a strikeout. You dropped Colt Keith for Andrew Benintendi, over 5 with 3 strikeouts. That's the batting equivalent of what Dean Kramer did for you. I dropped Benintendi for a David Peralta, 1 for 4 with a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 strikeouts. Dropped Garrett Mitchell for Michael Toglia. I swear to God, this guy is your new Nolan Jones.
He is an Nolan Jones. Yeah, he is an Nolan Jones this year.
Yeah, 1 for 4 with a run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. And finally, dropped Garrett Crochet for Ryan Nelson for next week. Garrett Crochet off the team.
Yeah, he doesn't pitch anymore. Like they don't. He doesn't go more than 4 innings, and he's been awful. He's been absolutely awful the last 3 or 4 times out. As now that he's playing on the White Sox, he's stuck on a losing team. I don't see them pushing him more than 4 innings in the start. Why bother? So yeah, I had to get off of him. I'm pretty sure I got the best out of Garrett Crochet that we're gonna see this year.
All right.
Um,
Um,
the Dean Kramer ad, and we were saying this off
mhm.
air, and that was the tipping point of this week because, like, I was doing all right. I was up. I was leading going out of Wednesday, and or going into Wednesday or something like that, and I'm sitting at Coors Field going, I really want to win. I was down by 1 win to Bobby. I really wanted to win to tie that category. I knew I had everything else pretty much good. I was good on innings. I was good on strikeouts. My ERA is shit, but whatever. Like, but it was pretty close enough. I see Dean Kramer is on the wire. He's pitching against the Jays, who sold everybody, so they're terrible. I figured Dean Kramer's got to, even if he goes 5 innings, maybe he gets, sneaks me a win.
Mhm.
No, no. Instead, he just gets the shit beat out of him with 5 walks and a homer and a loss. So that pretty much was the beginning of the end for the week.
Yeah, that was a really really bad start, unfortunately, and I understand the logic behind it. You know, the Blue Jays are a bad team. They sold a bunch of pieces. They're not really playing for much, and Dean Kramer's pitching for the first place Orioles. They've got a keep this thing rolling and try to win that division. Just wasn't the day to be Dean Kramer and wasn't the day to stream him.
No.
No. The MVP this week, I was just having a conversation with a Phillies fan about this guy, and James Wood is going to be a problem in the National League East in about 2 years. This week, he was a problem, 292 with a 414 on base, 7 runs, a double, a triple, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 3 steals, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, and an error. The least valuable hitter goes to Christopher Morel, 158 with a 273. That's a steal, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Bassett's first start, and the Cy Young goes to Bassett's second start.
Yeah. So more on the Blue Jays and the Orioles, because here I am, on Tuesday, I'm like, do I throw Bassett against the Orioles because Bassett's been so bad lately, and the Orioles are the Orioles. I'm like, it's Tuesday. I can probably rebound if he blows up. He's brilliant against the Orioles. Throws 7 innings, gets the win, 9 strikeouts. He's great against the Orioles. Great, cool. So Sunday rolls around and he's facing the A's. I'm like, okay, I know Oakland is not the Jokeland that we thought they were going to be, but it's still Oakland. No, he gets bombed on Sunday again against Oakland. Just absolutely destroyed. 4 innings, a loss, 2 homers, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1575 and a 250.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
So yeah, the Blue Jays and the Orioles were very, very weird to me this week.
Yeah, the Blue Jays specifically were the team that you were either rooting for or not rooting for, and they just were not doing what you needed them to do.
Yeah.
I have a note here about Victor Vodnik blowing the L. What is this?
Yeah, so that was the Wednesday game. So Wednesday was wild, right? Because the Mets had just lost Tuesday. I'm there at Coors Field watching this game. They lost Tuesday. I was really sad. I was really hoping that they would come back and win the next 2 games. Tuesday they're down, and Victor Vodnik comes in to try and preserve the win for the Rockies. Lindor gets the go ahead hit, which is cool for me, but that gives Vodnik the loss, and then but it means a win for Buto and a save for Diaz. So I was very heavily invested in that game, both as the Mets fan and as a fantasy owner.
And getting the win from Buto and the save from Diaz, that must have been a killer 1-2 punch for you.
Yeah,
Against Bobby,
I was absolutely loving it. Even if it meant getting Vodnik getting the loss, and again as a Mets fan, it was great. Comeback win, and I get the win and the save from it. So yeah, it was an exciting day.
And we took a big 2 out of 3 from the Rockies, which is always nice.
Got to take the 2
always nice. Yep. All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. Unfortunately for Bobby, he sits just outside the playoff picture looking in at the moment, but I get the feeling like this thing is going to get really weird within the next 3 or 4 weeks between now and the end of the season. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Our next matchup is going to be Ari Nisman taking down a 12-9 victory over Cody Piatt. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Ari, way to go.
This matchup, let me tell you, and it was Ari was down going in. You'll get into it, but Ari was down going into Sunday, and shit happened.
Yeah, he was down 11-10 going in, and he flips RBIs and strikeouts by a pitcher on Sunday to take it 12-9, a big win for him. Gets himself out of the basement for now, and Cody, who I am sure at some point had aspirations of being a 1 or a 2 seed, now is just hoping to make the playoffs because he's really falling lately.
Yeah. He's closer to being out of the playoff picture than he is to say even third place right now. So yeah, this is gonna be this is make or break time for him. Absolutely.
Yeah, between 4th and 8th is 6 games.
6 games.
4th to 8th is 6 games, and that includes Cody, Henry, Ben, Jay, and Bobby. That is our playoff race. It is those 6 teams for 3 spots. 2 teams will be heartbroken. And don't look now, but here comes Adam and Brian Lebo to spoil the party, but we'll get to that later on.
And by the way, Adam finishes the season against Jay Ferraro, which could be a big matchup.
that could be a play-in game. That very
Yeah.
easily could be a play-in game. I told you that Ari flipped the categories. What's the close categories this week? Well, Ari wins by 2 doubles, a triple, 2 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and 2 losses by a pitcher. Cody wins by 3 runs, 7 ticks on the batting average, and a win. They did not tie in anything. For Ari, on his bench this week, he goes 18 for 58. That is a 310 batting average. 7 runs, 4 doubles, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, and 5 walks would have had to be perfect in order to tie that category, and 8 strikeouts. He used 2 moves this week. First time since July 6th, he makes a move. He adds Trevor Larnach 2 for 4 with a steal and a strikeout, and Joey Ortiz for Andrew McCutchen 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Holy shit, Ari made moves.
And he won.
He won. Ari, make more moves. Then you'll win more matchups.
And I do feel like, 18 for 58, I feel like that's kind of light for an Ari bench this week.
Yeah, it does.
I know there were some off days this week, so maybe that played into it, but it was pretty low for him.
Mm-hmm. His MVP this week is going to be Dansby Swanson, 421 with a 421 on base, 4 runs, a triple, 2 RBIs, a steal, and only 3 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is going to go to JD Martinez, 143 with a 294 on base, a run, 2 doubles, an RBI, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. A lot of guys hit for him. He hit 271 this week, 36 RBIs, 11 bombs. He hit pretty well this week.
Yeah, it was just interesting to see, like, you had guys like Cal Raleigh who had 3 homers and 9 RBI, but only hit 273. But then you had guys like, Taylor Ward or Dalton Varsho who hit, over 300, but didn't have much in the counting stats. So it was a weird dynamic for his, even like Brandon Lau, 4 runs and 5 RBI, but only hit $160, 3 steals. So like it was kind of like a give and take with his offense this week.
Yeah. The Cy Young this week goes to Albert Suarez, 11 2/3, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.77. Shout out to Tobias Myers, whoever the hell this guy is, 7 1/3 with 9 strikeouts, nothing earned. Sean Manaea had a good week. Alexis Diaz had a decent week. Ari pitched pretty damn well with a 291 and an 0.97.
Yeah, and again, that's going to happen with this short pitching staff. Is they're either going to be really good or they're going to be really bad. Yep. And this was a really good week for him. Even like you said, like Manaea was bad on Sunday, but he was so good earlier in the week that it was fine. Albert Suarez had been terrible since he got moved to the bullpen, but Grayson Rodriguez got hurt, so he comes back into the rotation and he pitches like lights out.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Jake Irvin, 5 innings, a loss, 3 bombs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 9 and a 180. Gives up 3 home runs, but still only 5 earned on the total. So it's not the worst start in the world, but it certainly could have been a whole lot better.
Yeah.
For Cody on his bench this week, it's a 10 for 29. That is a 345 batting average. 4 runs, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. That would have changed the category. A steal, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. He, of course, was on the back half of that deal, adding Royce Lewis and Taj Bradley. He also adds Byron Buxton on a waiver claim after missing 3 games with injury, 1 for 4 with a double, a walk, and a strikeout, dropping Kyle Leahy, whoever that guy is.
Yeah.
He drops Ben Lively for DJ Hers, who was bad against San Francisco. Dropped DJ Hers for Eli Morgan, who was bad in his relief appearance. Dropped Eli Morgan for Chris Martin off a waiver claim, clean relief appearance. Dropped Edwin Uceta for James Paxton, who was pulled with a calf strain after 2/3 of an inning.
Yep, he's on the injury list, so he's done.
Well done. And dropped Cole Sands for Kyle Freeland, who was bad against Atlanta at home. I mean, what did you expect?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
That was not a good choice.
That was even worse than the Dean Kramer choice.
Yeah. The MVP this week for Cody goes to Yordan Alvarez, 429 with a 586 on base percentage, 7 runs, a double, 5 homers, 8 RBIs, 7 walks, only 1 strikeout. Really great week.
7 walks, 1 strikeout. That's
5 bombs.
Yeah, 5 bombs. Yeah. That's a week.
That is a week. You know who didn't have a week? Willier Abreu, 083 with a 313 on base percentage, an RBI, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts, but 083. That must have been one for the week.
Yeah, it was.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Bailey Ober. 6 innings, a win, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 067. The Cy Young goes to Mitch Keller. 4 innings, a loss, 2 homers, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 15.75 and a 2.25. Cody pitched to a 5.05 with a 143. Not a great week, yet somehow still also lost strikeouts and did not, and only won wins by 1. He did get innings by quite a few, but the strikeouts is really what surprises me because he outpitched Ari by almost 20 innings and still lost strikeouts by 5.
Yeah, yeah. And you're gonna beat Ari innings because he's got no pitchers. So it's kind of that's kind of a shoo-in. To not get strikeouts is a big deal. Nobody really got strikeouts for him. It was Skubal and Ober. Like, that was it.
Yeah. Ari pulling himself out of the dungeon, out of the basement here. Very nicely done. Sticking Mike Sherman down there for a while. But the real thing that I want to keep an eye on here is Cody. He's on a slide here the last couple of weeks, losing to Ari, and he's now got a pretty good matchup this week. Who's he taking on this week?
He's got Jimmy this week.
Yeah, that's the matchup I want to keep an eye on because Jimmy coming off of a loss.
Yep.
Cody coming off of a loss. Both of these guys are fighting their asses off. I think Jimmy realizes that it's about over, and it is for him. But he's going to play spoiler, and this is a former champion that's playing spoiler here.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really interesting matchup for Cody.
And Cody's lost 4 of his last 5 matchups.
Yeah.
And there've been 2 12-9s, but other than that, there've been kind of big losses to Mike Haber and to Henry Collins. So this is a big week for Cody to get right here.
Yeah, he's got to get right here because if not, he's got a slew of dudes coming right behind him that are going to want that playoff spot, and he could drop in a hurry.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the third matchup this week, it is my big victory over Jimmy Dunlap. 12-6. I am happy guy to get off of the schneid here, Jason, and take out a former champion. On Sunday, it was 13-5 going in, ends up 12-6, but holy shit, a lot changed on Sunday.
Yeah, it did. For one swing of a category, it was a lot that happened on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy tied doubles. He tied relief appearances. He untied wins, flipped innings pitched, and strikeouts by a pitcher. I untied walks by a batter and flipped errors and flipped walks by a pitcher. So I benched out my entire pitching staff to give me walks by a pitcher. Jimmy took 2 errors to give me that category, and I took enough walks to win the category. That solidified that I was going to get a win. It was a dangerous game I played benching out my pitching staff on Sunday, but I felt pretty good about at least walking away with a win and not, taking it on the chin, taking a big loss.
Right.
So again, it was 13-5 going in, 12-6 coming out. Close categories, I win by a run, a stolen base, 3 walks by a hitter, and an error. Jimmy wins by the win. And we tied in doubles, triples, and relief appearances. For me on my bench this week, I go 2 for 28. That was great. That's an 071 average with 2 runs, a double, an RBI, a walk, 9 strikeouts, and an error. Yeah, I could have gotten relief appearances if I played all my guys on Sunday. Yeah, I probably could have gotten the double in and won that category. Doesn't matter. I'm going to the playoffs. I'm now 10 games clear of 4th place. I'm okay. I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. I think you're a lock, and it was masterful what you did this week.
Thank you. 8 moves this week, most of them for relievers. I added Reed Garrett for Mitchell Parker, who gave me a clean relief appearance when he came back off the IL. Dropped Matthew Liberatore for Taylor Rogers, who had a bad relief appearance. Taylor Rogers for Eniel De Los Santos, who gave up a run in his relief appearance. Eniel De Los Santos for Keegan Aiken, who was bad in his relief appearance. Keegan Aiken for Caleb Ferguson, who was bad in his relief appearance. Dropped Fernando Cruz for Taylor Saucedo, who did not appear because I dropped him. Dropped Ferguson and Saucedo. Dropped River Ryan, who's now on the IL with a forearm strain. Like, this
He's
kid
done
was
for the year.
money. This
He's
kid
done
was
for the year.
Yeah. He's done for the year.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
They haven't said if he needs surgery yet or not, but he's definitely done for the year.
He was money for me for a few weeks, and now all of a sudden he's gone. I added Taylor Rogers back because I get the feeling like the San Francisco pen is about to get really weird. I dropped Eric Miller for Jordan Hicks on waivers. I know you were interested in that guy.
Yeah, you beat me out for him. Yeah, I think it was Frank that dropped him. And I was like, this guy is he's moving up. He's moved up in the pecking order. Now that he can't start, he's moved up in the pecking order for saves because apparently Duvall doesn't pitch. So yeah, that's a good pickup.
It's funny. I was having the conversation with Frank when he dropped him. This is before Duvall got sent down. And he's like, he's not starting anymore. There's no reason for him to be on my team. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So he dropped him. And then the next day, he's looking at him. He goes, wait a minute. He goes, Jordan Hicks might get saves. He goes, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, because this all happened today. You dropped him. That's on you.
Yep.
I happen to be the beneficiary again because my waiver claim is the highest.
And here you are.
And here I am. My MVP this week is Kyle Schwarber because, of course, it is. He was a monster. 346 with a 455 on base percentage, 7 runs, 2 doubles, 4 homers, 10 RBIs, a steal, 6 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He is an absolute beast.
Yeah, because of course he's going to steal a base. Why not?
Of course he is. The least valuable hitter is George Springer, 154 with a 154, 2 runs, a homer, 3 RBIs, and 7 strikeouts.
No, I'm not trading Edwin Diaz for him.
No?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're out of trades now, and the trade deadline passed. But yeah, I tried really hard to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I figured if I kept talking it into existence, George Springer would pick it up and do stuff, but no. Framber Valdez almost fucked around and threw me a no-hitter, 8 2/3, a win, a homer, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 208 and an 046. He gave up a 2-run homer to Corey Seager that ruined the no-hitter.
So we were watching it. So that was during the weird ass rain delay at Coors Field. They never put the tarp on the field. They just put more dirt on the field. It was raining like a motherfucker. So we go inside to get shelter. And and they had it on, and we were watching it, and we were like, he's gonna get this. Corey Seager, bam. Just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a moonshot too. It was not a wall scraper. That was a hell of a shot that he put on it. So thank you to Framber Valdez for almost making me very, very happy this week. Still made me very happy. My pitching was outstanding this week.
Yes.
My Cy Young goes to Keegan Aiken or to Taylor Rogers, who each gave up a run in 2/3 of an inning. That's as bad as it was. 2 13-50s. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Gavin Stone was meh, but it was just a really good pitching week.
Yeah, 2.70 ERA across 50 innings. That'll do. That'll do very nicely.
Absolutely.
For Jimmy on his bench this week, he goes 6 for 31. That is a 194 batting average with 3 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. The 3 walks, he had to be perfect. The double obviously unties that category. And the 3 runs, he lost that category by 1. So somewhere he probably could have gotten multiple of those in.
Yeah, Wednesday there was 2 on the bench. Wyatt Langford, Luis Robert, who we'll talk about, was not great. There was opportunity.
Yeah. 6 moves this week. He adds Pedro Avila for a clean relief appearance. He dropped Shea Langoliers for Manuel Rodriguez, who had a clean relief appearance. Dropped Michael Toglia for Eugenio Suarez, 2 for 8, 2 doubles, an RBI, and 2 strikeouts in a doubleheader. He drops Wyatt Langford for Michael Bush, 1 for 2. Drops Roansy Contreras for Nick Martinez. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, nothing earned against Milwaukee. Fuck. I almost picked that dude up, too.
Yeah.
I was like, but it's Milwaukee. They're in first place. Like, no, you shouldn't do this. You should not do this. And finally finished out the week jockeying Colin Snyder for Andrew Chafin, who had a bad relief appearance. His MVP this week goes to Jock Peterson, of all people. Jock Peterson, 353 with a 421 on base, 4 runs, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is, in fact, Lou Bob with his 0.45 average and on-base percentage, 2 stolen bases, a run, and 8 strikeouts.
Garbage.
I
mean, he's hitting 198.
And you wonder why the White Sox didn't trade him.
I guess they didn't want the bag of peanuts he was worth.
Right? The Cy Young is Nick Martinez. We talked about him, and the Cy Young goes to Puke Weaver. I'm not entirely sure who Puke Weaver is, but Luke Weaver was absolutely atrocious against who the hell did they play again?
The Rangers.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it was one bad outing on Saturday in the doubleheader, but it was a walk-off homer, and it was just awful.
Yeah, he was really bad.
That's Jimmy's team name is Puke Weaver, so I figured it was kind of fitting.
Yeah, overall, it's an inning and a third across 2 relief appearances, a loss, a bomb, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 33.75, and a 3.75. Yikes! Yeah. What a horrible, horrible week from Puke Weaver. Yeah, and he's been okay as the setup guy. Like, he's been okay. It's just this week he was really bad.
But like, yeah, we mentioned Chafin was bad, Estrada was bad, Taylor Scott was bad. Like, there was a lot of bad on this team. Christopher Sanchez wasn't great. It was not a pretty sight for his pitching.
Nope. No, a 4.75 ERA, a 1.43 WHIP across 60 and 2/3 innings. He was only able to get innings, wins, and strikeouts this week. That's why he lost the week. I mean, he couldn't get anything else substantial from his pitchers.
Yeah, and it kind of shows because there's really nobody there that, like, again, like, it's Pablo and Chris Sale, like, at this point. Dylan Cease has been okay. Rodon is okay, but yeah, it's been a rough pitching week. Rough pitching season for Jimmy.
No doubt. And when you factor in losing Acuna early on in the season, like, that's all the contributions you need in order to have a bad season. And here he is in the bottom half of our standings. You know who's not in the bottom half of our standings? It's this guy who's been leading this league since about week 6, and that's Mike Haber. And he took on Kostas Paragios this week to a very nice 11-8 win. Gets the win on Kostas this week and this season, so he gets to have the bragging rights over for one more year. It was 11-10 in favor of Kostas going in, but Mike flipped innings, tied wins and losses, and won the week 11-8. Great win for Mike this week.
Close first.
Yeah, close categories. He won by 4 doubles, a triple, and 2 errors. Kostas wins by 4 home runs by a batter, 4 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases, and they tied in wins and losses. For Mike on his bench, he went 6 for 27. That's a 222 batting average with a run, a double, a homer, 2 RBIs, 6 strikeouts, and an error. And he also benched a win from Luis Castillo on Sunday.
Yeah, so that was Sunday night against our Mets, and I get it. I probably would have done the same thing because you never, it's either going to be a win or a loss, probably, right? So you're banking on him getting a loss and benching him. Got the win. Because our team forgot how to hit and score runs. We almost were shut out for the entire series against Seattle. If McNeil didn't hit that 1 home run, we would have been shut out for the entire series. That's just awful.
Yeah. Mike tied the record for most relief appearances in a week at 28. That seems to be the number that nobody can get over because it's 4 every single day for a 7-day matchup. Holy shit, that's a lot of relief appearances.
Yeah, and that's how you get 62 innings
Mm-hmm.
with 28 relief appearances. You just throw relievers every day.
Every single day. He looks like he did use 9 of the 10 ads this week. He dropped Shelby Miller for Matt Wallner, 2 for 4 with a run, 2 doubles, and 2 strikeouts. Drops Matt Wallner for Jorge Polanco, 1 for 4 with an RBI and 3 strikeouts. Drops Blake Trinan for Danny Young, 2 innings, 2 strikeouts, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. He dropped Danny Young for Adrian Morejon, who was bad in his relief appearance. Jorge Polanco for Whit Merrifield, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a strikeout. Dropped Merrifield for Joe Adell, 2 for 4 with a walk. Dropped Jose Miranda for Cater Moreno. Montero?
Yeah, this guy.
This guy? Really?
Detroit. He's like their like 8th starter.
All right. 5 innings, a win, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 720, and a 180 in San Francisco. And dropped Trevor McGill for Matthew Boyd, who's on the IL. Not sure why.
He's coming back tomorrow.
That explains everything. He dropped Jonah Heim for Adrian Del Castillo. Who?
He's the new catcher for Arizona with Gabriel Moreno on the IL. And this kid, he's already hit a walk-off home run. Like, and in like his second game of his big league career, he hit a walk-off home run. This kid might be something.
He might be something. He might be nothing, but he might be something.
He might be.
And he's worth rostering right now with his walk-off home run.
Yes.
The MVP this week goes to, of course, Aaron Judge, 450 with a 577 on-base percentage, 6 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a steal, 6 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter this week goes to Lane Thomas, 111 with a 158, a run, a walk, 6 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to the bullpen. And explain why.
Because, I mean, that's all he threw. We talked about it. 28 relief appearances. Calvin Fauché was really good. Ryan Walker, he picked, we talked about the Giants bullpen. He got Ryan Walker, and he already got a save. Hunter Gaddis was good. Clase took a loss, but like 2 saves and nothing earned. Chad Green got him 3 saves. Robert Suarez a win and a save. Lucas Urseg with a save. Like everybody, the entire bullpen was just fantastic this week.
Did you need 9 saves there, Mike Haber? Did you need 9 against a guy with no closers? Did you need 9?
Probably not. But you know what? When it comes down to the playoff time, he's going to want 9 saves.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The only guy that doesn't make the list of guys who were good is Mark Leiter Jr. 2 2/3, 2 homers, a walk, 5 strikeouts, a 10-13, and a 225, and 3 relief appearances. But this dude is the Yankees like pitching side acquisition this year at the deadline.
Yeah, that's where they went. It wasn't anything magnificent. It was Mark Leiter Jr. to have another Leiter pitching in New York.
Terrific. Isn't that terrific? Man, Mike Haber is absolutely owning this season. He's 7 games up on his brother and it already has eclipsed 200 wins on the season. He and his brother have eclipsed 200 wins on the season. They're locks for the playoffs. They're probably locks for buys. So congratulations to both of these guys. They're just on cruise control until the postseason.
Yeah, it's a Haber's world, and we're just living in it.
We are. We're just living in the Haber League this year. Going to be interesting. Now, my whole thing is, if Mike Haber leads from week 6 all the way to the end of the season and doesn't close this one out, yeah, he won last year, and yeah, he's got that championship forever. But going back to back is something incredibly special. I've been trying to like goat Ben into having this conversation. Like, is Mike the favorite this year? And if so, how huge is it to go back to back, seeing as we haven't seen it since 2017, 2018?
And I think especially the way that the dominance that he has shown in doing it, it's not like he was, he snuck in with a 6th place seed and, it's been dominant. It's been absolutely dominant both last year and this year, what he's been doing. So yeah, I think it would be absolutely special for him to go back to back.
I'm actually rooting for it, not as much as I am rooting for something like Josh Haber to win a championship or Henry Collins to win a championship or Jay Ferraro to win another championship. Like, I'd like to see those guys win before I see Mike Haber win it, but back to back is something special. And it would put him in even more exclusive company than the multiple champions club that he's already a member of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason, are we going to see you tomorrow to do the managers of the week, or should we get that out of the way now?
Well, first, should we do Kostas' team?
Maybe.
He might like it.
He might like it. He might appreciate that. He
Yeah.
went 8 for 26 this week on his bench. That's a 308 batting average, 4 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, 2 steals, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. None of that played. But what's this note I have here?
He benched like almost everybody on Sunday, and he left 2 guys starting on Sunday. I think it was Caballero and somebody else. But he benched a triple and 6 walks on Sunday. So I didn't count that in the stats, but both of those would have played because he needed the triple and the 6 walks to tie the tie those categories, and they were gettable. I you know, I don't know
It's
if
another
it's
one of those like Costas did Costas things. Is that where
yeah, I
we're
think
at
they're
with
trying to get a
this?
little too cute. Maybe trying to avoid the strikeouts, but average on base seem to have been pretty safe. Strikeouts seem to be pretty safe. I don't know what the thought process there was.
Me either. We'd have to ask him. Hopefully he'd be able to reach out to us. 8 moves this week from him. He drops Chris Flexen for a terrible relief appearance from Angel Zerpa. He dropped Hunter Biggie for Kevin Newman over 2 with a walk. He dropped Newman and Luis Rengifo. Rest in peace, Luis Rengifo season, as he's done for the year.
Yeah, I kind of feel pretty good about that.
Really?
Yeah, because I dropped him earlier in the season because he was sick, and he came back, and Costa scooped him up, and he'd been doing all right, but then he kept getting hurt, and now he's finally out for the year. So I feel a little bit vindicated.
Okay. Well, Addison Barger was the ad, a 1 for 4 with a double, 2 RBIs, and 3 strikeouts. He drops Angel Zerpa for Jacob Stallings over 3, drops Luis Ortiz, and then finally on Sunday drops Freddie Fermin for Andrew Heaney, who was bad. Dropped Addison Barger for Zach DiCenzo, who was a waste, as he dropped that guy for Fernando Cruz, who didn't pitch, and dropped Jacob Stallings for Trent Thornton, who didn't pitch. The MVP this week is Jake McCarthy. Fuck it. Let's see how that guy does. Remember his 8th round pick from a couple of years, or was it 2 years ago?
Oh, Akil Badu 2 years ago.
No, it was Jake McCarthy. No, it was Jake McCarthy. He said, fuck it. Let's see how he does. And he added him. It was a 7th or 8th round pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I think it was last year.
Okay, that sounds right. He was the guy that got the triple on Sunday that he benched. So don't bench this guy.
Don't bench this guy. 368 with a 429 on base, 5 runs, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Lamont Wade Jr., 167 with a 167 with a strikeout. That's gross.
Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Tyler Anderson, who has been really good this year for the Angels. I'm shocked at how well he's doing. 6 innings, a win, a homer, a walk, 7 strikeouts, a 150, and an 067. On the season, Tyler Anderson, 2.99 ERA across 141 and a third.
Yeah,
gross.
Doesn't strike out very many guys, but that's never been really his game. But yeah, he's been really good, especially after last year. He was terrible with a 5.43 ERA, so he's been much better this year.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Seth Lugo, 5 1/3, a loss, a homer, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 6.75, and a 188. Yes.
Yeah, that feels good, huh?
Does feel good. Does feel good getting rid of a guy who ends up being someone else's Cy Young. All right, now I'm going to talk about managers of the week. Are you going to be here tomorrow?
Let's do it. Let's knock it out just in case.
All right, who's your number 3 manager of the week?
You know what? I'm going to give credit to Ari. Getting himself a win. He made moves The bench wasn't, absurd like it normally is, and he got a win against a team that is holding on to a playoff spot by his fingertips. So good on Ari for getting a win against Cody.
Good job, Ari. We appreciate you working hard here in the final weeks to make things interesting. Who's number 2 for you, Jason?
I'm gonna go another team that's kind of throwing up the standings. We talked about him, Adam Lowenstein. Again, you take down Ben the way that he did. I know Ben's not here to defend himself or say what happened, but it's a win against Ben, and that's got to be recognized. So I give number 2 to Adam.
Number 2 to Adam Lowenstein, and number 1 this week for you, sir.
It's you, my friend. You took down assists in Jimmy Dunlap and a double up, and the pitching was incredible. Your Sunday mastercy was great. What you did on Sunday was amazing. So stamping your way into the playoffs, giving you all the credit in the world.
I got the number 3 seed for now. I'm hoping Josh Haber has himself a nice quiet month of August, and I can somehow sneak into the number 2. That'd be really great. Be really great.
He specifically asked me not to beat him 14-6 this week, so we'll see what happens.
Beat him 14-6 because I got Frank this week, so hopefully I can make up some ground. I've got a bit of a ways to go in order to catch him, but it's still doable. It is still doable.
Yeah.
Jason, thanks for being here with me, my friend. I appreciate you being here with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure. And again, the season is ticking by now. We got what 4 weeks left of the regular season. That's absolutely insane. It's gonna be a wild ride. And now I'm gonna sit back and watch and see what happens with all you guys up top.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild finish here. We've got 6 teams for 3 spots. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams for 3 spots. That is a lot of breaking hearts and a lot of heartburn and stress, and I am glad I'm not a part of it.
Early mornings and and crazy Sundays. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. You can kind of coast, and I can kind of coast for different reasons, but it'll be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. Guys, thank you all for being here with us and watching and listening as always. Without you, we would have no show, we would have no league, and we would not be enjoying the final weeks of this show. Thanks again for being here with us, and until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.